Do not seek to have events happen as you want them to, but instead want them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go well. Have you ever felt like the whole world is calling you a loser? Like no matter what you do, it's just never enough for those around you, or maybe even for yourself. Today, we're going to dive deep into a topic that touches every one of us at some point in our lives. The fear of being seen as a failure, and why, maybe, just maybe, being labeled a loser isn't the curse we've been led to believe it is. In a world that constantly pushes us toward a never-ending race for more money, more fame, more likes, it's incredibly easy to feel left behind. But what if I told you that some of the wisest people who ever lived had a completely different view of what it means to be successful? Yes, I'm talking about the Stoics, ancient philosophers who believed that true success isn't about what you have, but who you are on the inside. So, if you've ever felt down because you don't measure up to someone else's standards, or if you're just tired of chasing after goals that don't truly fulfill you, stick around. Today, we're going to explore how Stoic wisdom can help us redefine success and find a sense of peace and contentment that doesn't depend on the world's approval. Let's get started on this journey together and discover how being a loser might just be the first step to living a life of genuine happiness and freedom. And before we dive into this life-changing perspective, please hit that subscribe button and stay with me throughout the whole video. You won't want to miss a single part of this transformative journey into Stoicism and redefining what it truly means to win at life. Stoic views on success and value. When we think about success, what images come to mind? Perhaps it's the sprawling mansions, flashy cars, or the glittering allure of fame that many of us equate with having made it in life. But let's pause and consider a different perspective. Stoicism, a philosophical tradition that originated in ancient Greece and was later developed in Rome, offers us a radical redefinition of success and value. Figures like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca didn't measure success by material wealth or social status. Instead, they proposed that true success lies in cultivating inner virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. Epictetus, for example, taught that external events are beyond our control, but we can control our responses to them. He believed that inner peace and freedom are achieved not by changing our external circumstances, but by changing our attitudes toward them. In this view, the wealthiest person isn't the one with the most, but the one who needs the least. Let's also bring Marcus Aurelius into the conversation. As a Roman emperor, Marcus had all the wealth and power one could dream of, yet he found true value in simplicity and virtue. In his meditations, he emphasizes the importance of self-mastery and integrity, teaching that the best way to be successful is to be in harmony with oneself and nature. Seneca, another prominent Stoic, echoed these sentiments, emphasizing that happiness derived from virtue is immune to the whims of fortune. He argued that true success comes from a tranquil mind and an ethical life, not from the accumulation of possessions or accolades. But Stoicism isn't the only tradition that views success and value through an internal lens. Western philosophers like Aristotle and Socrates also had their takes. Aristotle believed that eudaimonia, or flourishing, is the highest good for humans, achieved through virtuous living in accordance with reason. Socrates famously maintained that an unexamined life is not worth living, suggesting that self-awareness and personal growth are crucial for true success. Even in modern psychology, figures like Carl Jung have emphasized the importance of self-realization and individuation as paths to personal fulfillment. Jung believed that becoming who we truly are is the ultimate goal of life, a concept that resonates with Stoic ideals of authenticity and inner freedom. So, when we consider all these perspectives, it becomes clear that the conventional markers of success, while not inherently bad, are not the essence of true value or happiness. Instead, cultivating a resilient, virtuous character, being at peace with oneself, and living in alignment with deeper principles are what offer genuine, lasting fulfillment. The fear of being labeled a loser. There's this lingering fear that haunts many of us, a fear that's so pervasive yet so subtle that we often don't even recognize it shaping our lives. It's the fear of being labeled a loser. Why does this label hold so much power over us? The answer lies deep in the fabric of our society, which has meticulously crafted certain benchmarks for what it means to be successful. There's an unspoken checklist, a lucrative job, a flashy lifestyle, social recognition. The list goes on. When we fail to tick off these boxes, society is quick to slap the loser label on us. But here's where Stoicism steps in with a perspective that's nothing short of revolutionary. Stoicism tells us that these societal benchmarks are not the be-all and end-all. According to Stoics like Epictetus, what truly matters is not what we have or how others perceive us, but our inner state of being. It's about how we respond to the world around us, our resilience in the face of adversity, and our ability to maintain inner peace, regardless of external circumstances. Think about it. The fear of being labeled a loser stems from our craving for external validation. We're terrified of being seen as failures, so we exhaust ourselves in pursuit of success as defined by others. But Stoicism invites us to question this narrative. It asks us, what if true happiness lies not in external validation, but in self-acceptance? What if we could find contentment within ourselves, independent of societal approval? This is not to say that ambition or aspiration is bad. Not at all. Stoicism doesn't advocate for passivity or indifference. Instead, it encourages us to pursue our goals with a sense of detachment from the outcome, to do our best while understanding that the final result is not entirely in our hands. And there's something incredibly liberating about this perspective. When we embrace the idea that our worth is not contingent on external accolades, we free ourselves from the fear of failure and the label of being a loser. We allow ourselves to live more authentically, pursuing what truly matters to us without being swayed by the opinions of others. Redefining success. Everywhere we turn, from the billboards that line our highways to the social media feeds we scroll through daily, but who gets to decide what success means? Why should someone else's definition dictate how we feel about our own achievements? The term loser is often wielded like a weapon based on these arbitrary, surface-level standards. But here's a thought. What if we challenged this status quo? What if we embraced a broader, more inclusive definition of success? Imagine the difference it could make in how we view ourselves and others. Take, for instance, the owner of a small cafe. Maybe it's a quaint little spot, tucked away on a quiet street corner. It might not be raking in millions, but it's filled with love, passion, and a sense of community. Regulars come in not just for the coffee, but for the warmth and connection they find there. Isn't that a form of success? Or consider someone in the tech industry, tirelessly working to innovate and create solutions that could benefit society. Their work might not be glamorous, and they might not become a household name, but their contributions could change lives, even shape the future. That's incredibly significant, isn't it? Success, when you really think about it, is so subjective, so deeply personal. It's about finding fulfillment and purpose in what we do, whether that's nurturing a family, mastering a craft, or contributing to our community in some way. It's about the joy we find in our daily lives, the small victories we celebrate along the way. And let's not forget the wisdom of some of the greatest thinkers throughout history. Aristotle talked about eudaimonia, a term often translated as flourishing or fulfilling your potential. He believed that true success comes from living a virtuous life, one that aligns with your values and allows you to be the best version of yourself. Even modern psychology supports this idea. Research on happiness and fulfillment consistently shows that meaningful, engaged living, doing things that align with our interests and values, contributes far more to our well-being than external markers of success. So, why not redefine success for ourselves? Why not measure our achievements not by the standards set by society, but by what truly brings us joy, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose? Whether it's growing a garden, writing poetry, teaching children, or anything else that lights up your soul, that's where your true success lies. Let's start celebrating these diverse, deeply personal forms of success. Let's honor the small cafe owners, the tech innovators, the artists, the caregivers, and everyone in between. By broadening our perspective, we can create a more compassionate, understanding, and fulfilling world for all of us. The illusion of external pursuits. Stoicism teaches us about the dangers of basing our happiness on external pursuits, things that are, by their very nature, beyond our control. Imagine pinning all your hopes for happiness on something as fickle as financial success or public acclaim. It's like building your house on sand, isn't it? Epictetus had some powerful insights on this topic. He warned us about the pitfalls of chasing after external goods, pointing out how such pursuits can leave us feeling vulnerable and unfulfilled. Why? Because these things can be taken away from us in an instant. But what can't be taken away? Our character, our virtues, our inner resilience. Epictetus championed the pursuit of inner virtues like contentment and self-restraint. He believed that true happiness is found not in what we have, but in how we live, in the quality of our thoughts and actions. It's about finding peace within ourselves, regardless of our external circumstances. Think about it. How often have we seen people who seem to have everything they could ever want, yet they're still unhappy? And conversely, there are those who, despite facing adversity and owning very little, radiate joy and contentment. What's their secret? They've discovered that happiness comes from within, from living in accordance with their values and focusing on what they can control. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that external events are indifferent. It's our judgments about them that cause suffering. He urged us to focus on our inner selves, cultivating virtues like patience, integrity, and compassion. Seneca, too, spoke of the futility of chasing after wealth or fame. He observed that even the wealthiest can be miserable, while those with modest means can find true happiness. For Seneca, it was clear. Peace of mind comes from within, from our ability to live in harmony with nature and reason. Now, let's bring this wisdom into our modern context. In today's world, where success is often measured by material possessions or social status, Stoicism provides a refreshing counterpoint. It reminds us to question the promises of happiness that come with external pursuits and to reflect on what truly matters. Embracing loserdom. What are we really chasing, and at what cost? By society's norms, letting go of the race for external achievements might tag you as a loser. But what if this loser status frees you from the endless chase and brings inner peace instead? Stoics like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca, they weren't just philosophers. They were practical life navigators who found real freedom in redefining success. So, when you step off the relentless treadmill of seeking external validation, be it through wealth, status, or approval, you might get labeled a loser. But what do you gain? You gain the opportunity to align your life with your own values, not someone else's metrics. You gain the chance to cultivate inner virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline, qualities that Stoicism holds in the highest regard. Epictetus, for instance, was a staunch advocate for focusing on what's within our control. Imagine applying that to your perception of success and failure. Suddenly, the opinions of others, the size of your bank account, or your social standing don't define your worth. Your character does. Your ability to remain composed, to choose your response to life's challenges, that's what signifies true success. Now, think about Marcus Aurelius, who, despite his immense power and wealth, emphasized simplicity and inner tranquility. He knew all too well that external achievements could vanish in a blink. What remains? Your sense of self, your inner resilience, your peace, that remains. And then there's Seneca, who warned us about the futility of chasing after wind, of sacrificing our serenity for fleeting, unstable external rewards. He championed a life of moderation, of focusing on enriching the soul rather than the coffer. But let's bring this back to our modern context. Imagine if more of us started valuing inner peace over external success. What kind of society would we be living in? Perhaps one where people are less anxious, less stressed, and more connected to what truly matters. Embracing loserdom in this Stoic sense isn't about giving up or opting out of ambition. It's about redefining ambition on your own terms. It's about asking yourself, am I chasing this because I truly value it, or because I'm afraid of how I'll be seen if I don't? By letting go of society's script, you're not becoming a loser, you're becoming liberated. You're choosing to live a life that's true to you, one that's measured by the richness of your experiences, the depth of your relationships, and the tranquility of your inner world. Personal reflection on value. Stoicism teaches us something radical yet profoundly simple. Your value as a person isn't determined by your job title, your bank account, or how many followers you have. Stoicism invites us to measure our worth by something far more stable and intrinsic: our character, our virtues, and our responses to life's ups and downs. Consider Epictetus, who was born into slavery and faced unimaginable hardships. Yet he emerged as one of the most respected philosophers of his time. Why? Because he understood that our true worth comes from within, from our ability to maintain our integrity, practice kindness, and stay true to our principles, no matter what life throws our way. Now, think about Marcus Aurelius, who, despite being one of the most powerful men in the world, constantly reminded himself of the importance of humility, self-reflection, and personal ethics. His meditations are not musings on how to gain more power or wealth. They are reflections on how to live a virtuous, meaningful life. And let's not forget Seneca, who, despite his wealth and status, emphasized the value of simplicity, inner peace, and moral integrity over external success. He knew that life's truest treasures were not material, but found in the wisdom and tranquility of the mind. So, let's bring this home. Imagine you're living a life that's authentic to you, filled with moments and activities that resonate with your core values, even if they don't scream success to the outside world. Maybe you find joy in quiet mornings, in reading books that challenge you, in conversations that nourish your soul, or in helping others in small, unseen ways. According to Stoicism, this is where your true value lies, not in the accolades or achievements society often chases, but in your capacity to live with purpose, to cultivate inner strength, and to respond to life with grace and resilience. So if you ever feel like you're not measuring up to some external standard of success, remember what the Stoics taught us. Your worth is inherent, not conditional upon societal approval or material success. It's about how you live, how you treat others, and how you engage with the world around you. In embracing this Stoic perspective, you're not just rejecting superficial measures of value, you're affirming something deeper and more enduring about yourself. You're recognizing that your significance comes from your very essence, your thoughts, your actions, your choices. The true victory. How often do we tie our happiness to things outside our control? The promotion we're chasing, the latest trends we feel pressured to follow, the endless pursuit of validation from others. But here's the liberating truth that Stoicism offers. These things don't have to define us or dictate our happiness. Like Epictetus, we can choose a different path, one where our inner state, our tranquility and resilience are what truly matter. This isn't just philosophical musing, it's a practical way of living. When you ground your sense of self in your values, in your capacity for reason, kindness and courage, you're no longer at the mercy of the world's whims. You become the captain of your ship, navigating life's storms with composure and grace. That's the true victory. And let's be clear, choosing this path doesn't mean you won't strive for external goals or enjoy success when it comes. What it means is that you don't base your happiness or self-worth on these things. You can appreciate them, sure, but your inner peace isn't contingent on them. Now imagine the freedom this mindset offers. Suddenly, the fear of failure, the dread of judgment, the relentless comparison with others, these things lose their grip on you. You're free to pursue your passions, to embrace your quirks, to live authentically, all because you know that your value comes from who you are, not what you achieve or own. This perspective also changes how we view challenges and setbacks. Instead of seeing them as disasters, we can view them as opportunities for growth, as chances to practice our virtues and strengthen our character. This is what the Stoics meant by using obstacles as fuel for our inner fire. So whether you're basking in accolades or facing criticism, whether you're riding high or feeling low, remember that these external circumstances don't define you. Your true victory lies in maintaining your inner tranquility, in nurturing your resilience, and in living in alignment with your deepest values. As we wrap up this journey together, remember, the most profound victories are those won within the quiet chambers of your own heart. Embrace your path, honor your values, and let your inner tranquility be your greatest triumph. I invite you to continue exploring the wisdom of Stoicism with one of the suggested videos on your screen. Dive deeper, reflect further, and let's grow together on this path of inner freedom and resilience. Thank you for joining me here at Stoic Journal. Your presence and engagement are what make this community so special.